how you identify that fear with all those experiences,
I
how you
felt the
get to,
silence can be scary.
before you are going to held the battlefield.
Mm.
What I am feeling listening from you, it's a battle that is happening within you, that
Now,
you
nobody knows as to which bullet will hit you. Fear
there
was not my concern. There was no
was
fear.
from you for how to be a better leader. This there is no scope for fears, there is no space for fears.
Welcome to Voice Beyond Fear. This is not just a space where we honor achievements. This is the space where we honor the human being behind them. We honor the moments when fear stood in front of someone and they chose to stand anyway. I am Ruchi Bhutani, lovingly known as Ruchi Mystic Flâneuse, your host and your dost in this journey of Voice Beyond Fear. And today's conversation is very special. Yes, there is glory. Yes, there are medals. Yes, there is honor. But beyond all of that, there is a beating heart. Born in a farmer soldier family, educated in a village school, selected for NDA, commissioned into the Indian Army, 34 years of service, rising to the rank of colonel, rated with the Shaurya Chakra by the President of India for bravery. But today, we are going to go beyond the uniform. We are going to explore the human story, the man behind that courage, the fear, the becoming. It is my honor to welcome Colonel Mehar Dahiya to Voice Beyond Fear.
Uh, Thanks, dear Ruchi, for inviting me for your interview or interactive session. I'm truly honored. This is early morning, 8 o'clock in India, and it is
Yes,
nice to see you, for a very in-depth awareness that each one of us should have within us to handle day-to-day routine issues. I'm truly
right.
honored and very happy to be with you.
Yes, and we are really thankful and grateful that you spare time for us, sharing your stories and inspiring lots of people, because these are the voices which help people going beyond their fear and understand that it's it seems difficult, but it it's not. You can do it. Everybody can do it. And I would love to ask you to share one of your stories that can help us know more about you.
Uh, to begin with, before I come to the story or my experience, I would like to share with you the term fear per se. You see, fear is a important part of our psyche, which makes us do certain things, put lot of things, doubts in our mind. Actually, I call fear is a collection of our worries, apprehension, negative self-talk.
Right.
And generally, what happens is that unless we understand something, unless we analyze it, we cannot successfully face it or solve it.
Right.
In, in this respect, fear, as I said, that it is a natural part of our day-to-day living.
Exactly.
Am- Amongst the living beings, the instinct of self-preservation is the strongest one. All living
Mhm.
beings, they feel threatened when faced with something unknown, and they want to protect themselves because this
Mhm.
self-preservation instinct is very, very strong, as I said,
Right.
among. Uh, uncontrolled fear or ununderstood fear leads to panic. And when we get into that mode of panic, like we say generally, don't get panicky. Just understand what the issue is. Then only
Right.
then you can solve it.
Mm.
Fear has got many other parameters also.
Mm.
As I said, the first and the foremost thing that we want to preserve ourselves. That instinct is overriding in our response to handling of fear.
Right.
Uh, it depends on many other factors also. Firstly, it's being unknown.
Mm.
A- Another factor is in whose company are you?
Right.
It matters. It matters how much have you been exposed to this kind of situation earlier? Because if you have faced those issues, those problems, and you would have definitely learned some lessons, and that will empower you to face and handle such situation in future.
So
Next thing
basically,
is,
there are, sorry to
yeah.
interrupt, but I really want to understand this thing more. So when we talk about, previous experiences, so it's more or less like what you had experienced earlier. Is it the same thing that is happening? And how you identify that fear with all those experiences? How you get to know that, how much you are aware of that fear? How we do that? Matlab, how we can do that? How you you do that, or how you can suggest our audience that how they can identify that with the experiences?
You see, one of the aspect of soldiering, or even as an ordinary being, uh, if you have been exposed and trained to handle a situation, that means that capability enables you to face those things or similar things in future. So the first and the foremost thing that comes is that you have been exposed to that kind of environment where your self-preservation is at stake.
Hmm.
Now, in that respect, the previous exposure and experience will come handy in handling current situation.
Hmm.
Uh, Another thing that you have to understand is that there are certain things we do by without even a proper thought, without any deliberate thinking or planning is a bigger word, and that comes naturally. It becomes part of your behavior. That gets embedded in your intellect. That in so and so situation, how will you react? So in this
Hmm.
respect, the previous experience exposure come handy.
Hmm. So, would you like to share some story where you had experienced something like that and that people can relate to?
You see, as a soldier, you will agree with me that our process of final achievement comes via a proper selection system, and that is a traits and quality based assessment that is carried out on us. That is basically in four parts: your intellect, your social behavior, then your impact that you leave on others, and your dynamism. How to what an extent you are able to drive yourself. So
Right.
broadly on these four components, our assessment is carried out, and based on the this assessed behavior or attitude or potential, we are trained in a similar kind of situation that we are likely to face. In this respect, combat, that is in the presence face to face with the enemy, is natural part of our training. And
Mm.
subsequently, while in service, we undergo various exercises where a mock picture is created, and you are supposed to respond physically on ground as to how will you tackle it.
Mm.
Uh, as far as my lifetime exposure was when I in 1984-85, you see, India occupied Siachen Glacier, which is the source of our water system in Ladakh.
Right.
Uh, Before I come to the story proper, I would like to share the terrain and the weather conditions. The altitude is from it starts from 11,000 and goes up to 21,000 feet. And temperature, normal temperature during daytime is also minus 15, 20. At night, it goes up to minus 60. Now, that is the kind of environment that I was expected to operate and successfully face it.
It's really very
Uh,
tough environment.
Tough environment, and Ruchi, I'd like to share with you that when I started walking, it's about 70 kilometers walk on ice,
We
and
are
without
barely can walk 1 or 2 kilometers. That is too much for us.
not only
70
that,
kilometers.
we carry our personal loads along with
Mm.
weapon ammunition that is add-ons. So average it comes
Mm.
to about 14 kgs on your
Mm.
back, walking into 5 to 7 feet of snow. I'd like to share with you, okay, this is the first time I felt the silence can be scary.
Mhm.
Silence. You are in a, I was feeling as if I'm in a different world. And it was so
Right.
silent that even the silence was scary. But being a teamwork, we were together, trained in similar environment, facing similar situation. But the responsibility was more on me being a commander of all this. So the way we are organized, it is everything depends on the leader. In fact, we say that we stand naked in front of our men. All pair of eyes, so many pair of eyes that they are part of your team, they look up to you.
Right.
Hence, your challenge becomes more. In this situation, one is that if you do not handle it properly, it may lead to panic. And
Mm.
in those circumstances, you cannot allow panic to overtake you.
Right.
So that means the responsibility on you is much more.
Mm.
When I was a company commander, leader of about 120 men, in this environment, I was I was tasked to face the enemy, which was at least it was around 30 times more than me. I had only 15 men with me, and facing me were about 500, far better prepared, and accessibility from their side was much more convenient than mine. Like I said, I had to walk for about 70 kilometers to reach up to my place and then go behind them and neutralize them. Now you can
I have a
imagine.
Yeah, I have a
Yeah,
question here. So it is
yeah.
like, before you are going to held the, battlefield,
Mm.
what I am feeling listening from you, it's a battle that is happening within you, that you
Yeah,
have to win it. You have to win it.
yeah.
I would really love to hear that part, that before, well, that is going to happen. But before you are reaching there and on that process, on that way, what is actually happening within you and how you kept going, because you are a leader and you have to do it. But how you prepare yourself for that, because it's way too much to handle.
You see, I'll explain it this way, that when
Mm,
you are under such circumstances and 120 pair of eyes are looking up to you for decision and taking
mm,
it ahead,
mm,
then your personal worries, self-preservation, fears, they become absolutely negligible.
mm,
And at that time, you develop something, if I can call it, onlooker syndrome. That
what is that?
you you are only, you are detached yourself because you
Mm,
have evolved and grown, spread beyond your personal threat to you. So
yes.
you adopt that. I call it onlooker syndrome. You get into that
Mm,
mode, and when such a situation comes, uh, what you what overtakes you is that you got to understand, you got to fix the problem, and then you got to solve it. So if you allow me to say, you are really moved out of your own self, and you are only in functional mode, and mathematical kind of behavior
mm,
overtakes you.
right. So,
The,
it would be okay to say, at that time of, in that moment, you are beyond that human nature and you are working as a machine, because
yeah,
because you cannot go, you cannot, supposed to or allow yourself to get into any kind of emotions right now.
in fact, I like to share, uh, it took me about 11 hours of walk and 5 to feet of snow, and at a gradient of about 70 degrees,
Mm,
with 14, 15 kg load on
mm,
our backs, and
mm,
enemy overlooking us. They were to begin with. I was in a pass, and they were at a much higher place. So with
mm,
all these threats around you, I started my this journey at 6:20 in the evening, and around 11 o'clock in the night, I said, let's have a break for about 10 minutes. And the biggest question of my life was that moment. I said, can I give it up? Would you like to die a death of a coward? Or should you proceed, because the journey is inhuman, torturing yourself. And
mm,
the temperature is around 40 to 50 degrees minus.
right.
So you can well imagine. So that is the time I asked myself, what should you do? And that is the time the reply came that, look, friend, you have been trained, you have been selected, you have been exposed to this kind of situation.
Mm,
120 pairs of eyes are looking at you for decision. Their life is
mm,
also depends on what decision you take.
mm,
So that is the time when you really move away from yourself, and you are
right.
only working to achieve the task. So
Mm.
that is the way it happens.
It's more of your, it's not only about you, it's the responsibility that you have for all of those
Exactly.
people looking at you. And then you just
Exactly.
can't go back. You just can't step back and you just need to keep moving.
You got to remember that, and not only that, the stakes were so high.
Correct.
Imagine, had I not undertaken this mission successfully, the borders of India would have been different. So the national prestige, the sanctity of borders, and those areas were at stake. So in
Hmm.
this, my own personal fear, my
Hmm.
own difficulties, they become absolutely minuscule. They're ignored.
Hmm.
And once I reached there, it was a fight with artillery shelling, small arms firing, machine gun taking on you, everything. Now nobody knows as to which bullet will hit you. There are
Hmm.
bullets, bombs falling all around you, and you do not know. So you ignore them. जो होगा देखा जाएगा. So
Right.
you get into that mental mode where
Hmm.
the responsibility, your own self pride,
Hmm.
your enthusiasm on your mission accomplishment, they take priority.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, in this also, I like to share when we reached the place where I was able to take them on. For 6 days, there was nothing to eat. I was at 21,000 feet, minus 60-degree temperature, and without food for 6 days. And believe you me, fear was not my concern. There was no fear.
I got it. Hmm.
There was no hunger, there was no sleep, there was no
Hmm.
fear.
Right.
So, human body, once you are able to relocate the priority was not preserving myself,
Right.
preserving or accomplishment of mission was and all.
Hmm. So
Now,
in that moment, basically, the gear had shifted towards a bigger purpose
yeah,
as a leader. And
exactly.
with this thing, I really want you to give advice to the leaders of the world because, it's not just the war front, right? Or the battlefield. We all are, especially the leaders or, those who wants to bring a change to the world. They really need some tips from you for, how to be a better leader and how to think beyond themselves and how to think about a collective, thinking about everyone as a collective and that you are responsible for that. And that's what I believe is with this particular thing that you are going to share, as in for leaders of our country and wherever they are, it's gonna give them a different sense of responsibility, and that's going to help them let them go beyond their fears, because there is no scope for fears, there is no space for fears. So I would love to you to share some of the tips for the leaders of the world.
You see, got to identify what is the cause of this fear. Once you are able to identify the cause, then you fix it. You see, this is very open, random, unending, undefined situation or imaginary situation that you are putting in your mind, and they are upsetting you. So
Hmm.
first and the foremost thing is you must to understand as to what the threat is or what is
Hmm.
the problem, what is the mission, whatever. Then you got to fix it before you solve any problem. You got to fix the problem, take into all, put it in a square, and then you know what is required to be dealt with. And I
Hmm.
always, the best way to solve a problem is, after understanding and fixing it, is face it perpendicular.
Right.
When you face anything perpendicular, chances are that if it does not really break, there will be cracks in it. And then you can compartmentalize components, and those components are easier to face.
Work on. Right. Right.
So
Mm,
this is one thing.
mm,
Next is in this world, our health, our physical fitness, our mental, strength, and above
mm,
all, from our training. In fact, today's generation is not really prepared to face these routine issues. Even why? Because earlier you are well aware, you deeply understand the subject. Earlier, you used to talk of IQ, then it came to emotional quotient. These days, there is another term, and that is AQ, that is adversity quotient. You should be able to, how well you will be able to handle a situation, face it, and come out successful,
mm,
depends on how you take in the adversity. Normally,
mm.
people who are not prepared, they get into panic. अब क्या होगा? अब तो
Right.
कुछ इसका- And we should not allow ourselves to get into that mode.
Mm,
Next thing is um, higher strength, the creator. We have complete faith. When we have that faith becomes our strength. I
mm,
like to this thing. I was commanding Ladakhi troops, and
mm,
they follow Buddhism. So when I took this break at 11 o'clock in the night in absolute snowy wilderness, there was nothing, completely silence. And our landscape was very high mountains and around. Believe me, we can call it premonition or whatever you may call it. I was all alone. A leader is all alone in making decisions.
right.
On on a horizon, I saw something like as if it was the face of Buddha.
Mm,
And I told my next Subedar Saab, I said, Saab, dekho, you look there. Doesn't the landscape looks like the face of Buddha?
Buddha. Right.
And believe me, after this, he says, Saab, if you have seen him, then nothing can prevent us from being successful. Now that
Mm,
higher power
yes.
is always, it gives you that confidence to
Right.
stand.
Mm,
Next next thing is that today's generation should have a complete template. I know your own response depends on the environment around you, the different
yes.
situation, different personalities.
Mm,
So you should be diversity sensitive. You should be able
mm,
to take on everybody's concerns, fears, because you are considered to be higher than ordinary. So you should be able to take on board because when you come down to making a team, then everyone is a component contributing in his or her own way. So this
exactly.
is the way. Some of the experience lessons that I have learned, I thought I'd share
Mm.
with you.
Yeah, and it was really beautiful. And because you know that I am a psycho spiritual coach, so I am very much intrigued about that, how you felt actually when you saw, you know, Buddha, because you know, it's like it's been visible to you, not to anyone else. But there must be something that will be happening within you, or you have felt something. So I want to know the feelings, even on the war front, when you experience this particular thing. I am really interested to know that.
You
Because you
see,
still remember this moment, so there must be something that had actually brought something bigger within you.
you see, these things you understand the subject better than me. It depends on certain established behavior of yours,
Right.
your value system, your code of
Mm.
conduct, your self discipline.
Right.
No, if you really want to be successful, you should make your own self responsible. Generally, we pass on the buck to somebody else. It has happened because of this.
Yes.
It happened. So this is a
Yes.
cardinal issue. It's a cardinal issue that if you are responsible, then be in command.
Mm.
So first and foremost thing, be in command of your own self. Because
Perfect.
if you are in command of your own self, that your self will multiply in its strength and your ability to handle it. So
Right.
this has been my strength, that I
Mm.
have not depended on others, held myself responsible, accountable before I
Yes.
pass on the buck to somebody else. Generally, we pass it on to somebody. यार उसने ये नहीं किया,
And
उसने ये नहीं किया.
it's easy to
That's
be in
not.
the victim zone, and it's very difficult to be in the responsible zone, because the
Yeah.
moment you take that responsibility, you have to own it. You
Yes.
have to own the decisions, and you have to own what you had done, because from someone's perspective, whatever you had decided, because it's a fear of unknown, you don't know where your decisions are going to take you. The future is yet to come, but at the same time you own those decisions, and then there are people who are going to put it on you, whatever is going to happen.
In fact, before I set out on this mission, my higher commander had come by helicopter, and he
Mm.
told me that, you see, tomorrow, day after, I'll give you all the support and everything. I told him point blank. I said, sir, I know you have nothing to offer. It is me who has to live and die here. So
Right.
I'm very clear. I'm very clear that I taken on that mission as my personal challenge.
Hmm.
And as a team, we are always together, and they are your strength. It also depends on which type of company you are in. You
Hmm.
see, when you visit your friend circle, you know everybody's traits, their established behavior, their value system. So
Right.
they should not that should not upset you. As long as
Hmm.
you are clear about yourself,
Hmm.
then you know up to what extent you need to take on.
Okay, here
Then
yeah, please, please.
yeah, please.
I just wanted to, because your stories are very, very interesting, and it is giving a lot of nuggets of wisdom to us. And thank you so much for that. But I really want to know, like you said, that it is coming from within you. You are going to do it. No one had given you that task. No one had anything to offer you. So this thing, you know, since what is your story when you started, or when you had it for the first time, and that's when you opted for being an army personnel? So I wanted to go back and want to know how actually your journey of getting into, though I know that you are from a army background, your family is from soldier background, but what is that one thing that it was coming from within you, that you might have chosen something else, but you choose to be in the army? So what was that? I want to know that.
You see, I say that the background that I come from, even before we put on uniform, we are about 50% soldiers. Where the
Mm,
livelihood of food growing is
mm,
almost akin to what you face as a soldier. In fact,
mm,
I call it interchangeable.
mm,
A person who is exposed close to the nature has generally the same thing. Like, for example, you got to defend what you have grown, what you have created, what you have collected. So, ability to
mm,
defend. And before you defend, you got to have emotional identification with it. So
Mm.
I'm emotionally identified with this mission. I
Mm.
can also I can also would have given some excuses and yeah, I don't have this, I don't have this weapon system, I don't have manpower, I don't have this. No,
Mm.
I have owned it. I've identified my persona with that mission.
Mm.
Either this or nothing. If it doesn't happen, then sorry, I'm not there.
Mm.
Then about Buddha's appearing to me. You see, when we are in a very very extreme situation, it was extreme in at that snowy wilderness, minus 60-degree temperature, so much of load, 5 to feet of snow, and then you're climbing up a hill, 60, 70. It's a hopeless situation. So where do we fall back? You fall back to our creator, the
Right.
almighty. I put everything in front of you. Now it is upon you to take me to my mission. Now,
Mm.
when you have that with purity of heart, when you lay everything in front of him, then you get into the onlooker syndrome now. You detach
Right.
yourself. जो थ्रेट हैं, जो इंजरी होगा, डेथ होगा, ये होगा, आप उससे दूर हो गए हैं.
Then nothing exists actually after that. Even
So
you don't
after that,
exist. Even you don't
you
exist. Yeah.
that's exactly I'm saying. For six
Mm.
days, I did not remember कि मुझे खाना भी खाना है या मुझे सोना भी है या
Hmm.
मुझे कोई मेरी सेफ्टी का. I never thought about it. No, the idea never came to because the priority has shifted to accomplishment of the mission.
Right. Mm.
Priority is not preserving myself. I can be sacrificed, but my mission should be upheld. So today's
Mm.
generation should be very, very clear about this laying down and identifying with your journey, with the
Right.
Creator taking care of us. That is
Right.
what
And
I mean.
this is what reminds me of, it's always been like that. I always say I am 24/7, 365 days available. And, I used to talk to people 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., no time, no constraints. And they were like, when you go to sleep, how are you surviving? Manika, because I don't exist. And it's that power that is driving me. And if that power is driving someone or something, I don't know how it's happening. I don't know how I am available 24/7, 365 days, and I'm still doing it continuously without being, burnout, without being drained, because all I know, I cannot do it. The only I that can do is that the I, right? The
Exactly.
creator. Because I don't exist, then who exists? The I. When the I exists, I don't know how things happen and how your purpose or your mission, it is also coming from there only. Your mind don't have that capacity. Your body don't have that capacity. Your heart don't have that intelligence. It's coming from there. And that's what, your stories are reminding of me of, and for all those leaders also. They just need to have that faith, that surrender, and that trust. If some seed is being put into you for doing something, just keep doing it and forget about how it's going to happen, because he will take care of it.
It is relocating the focus. Now you have put
Mm.
the focus in front of him, and you become as a functional machine.
Right.
Because it is somebody else who's in control. Another thing is that we must try, while handling fear, facing it, is we over imagine things. इनफैक्ट आई लाइक टू आपके माध्यम से मैं कहना चाहूंगा आपके व्यूअर्स एंड ऑडियंस से कि just carry out a survey for about a month. You can note down what worries you, what you think is fearsome, what you think may happen to you. Just put it there. And
Right.
I can assure you that 70 to 80% of those apprehensions, they do not happen. But you have already paid for it. It is like a prepaid mobile recharge.
Right. Right.
And
It
then
is
you
like,
realize,
fear is just that anticipation of something
yeah,
which had never happened, which is which is not going to happen, but you manifest it that way because you are carrying it. You are carrying that energy this way. And then you say,
and
why always I get into the trouble?
yeah, yeah. And for that, you have already consumed energy in facing that situation. Whereas ultimately it may never happen. So be realistic, be pragmatic about what you think can happen to you.
Yeah, you just need
Get
to shift the gears.
Yeah. Then you get into negative self-talk, or I call it mental machination. Uh,
Then,
that is very negative thing. You must live putting everything at his doorstep, and you say, "Aap hi malik hai, whatever you show me the way." That's the way
right.
to.
Okay. So we can keep on talking for as long as we want because this is way too interesting and way too informative and way too eye-opening. But now I want to have a quick rapid fire round with you for our audience where, I don't know what going to come up. I never go with the script. I just go with the flow. I am a person who loves to flow rather than constrain myself in that. Well, because that flow also comes from there. So I want to have a quick one word question that are coming to me. I'm going to ask you and I want you to answer them. Just a small
Yeah,
rapid fire. Okay,
welcome,
I
welcome.
want I want you to define yourself in just one word.
I'm I beyond myself. I believe in the Creator and His way of things.
Hmm. What is that one thing you feel that you would have done in a different way?
I'm a very accomplished man. I have no regret in life. In fact, I count my blessings and I say, the God, you have given me more than what I really deserve, or more than what I really need. In fact, I
Mm-hmm.
like to add this thing. The biggest challenge today in front of today's generation is we are not able to fix the need as to हमें चाहिए क्या. As a result, we are after everything and we don't even live our lives. So please
Right.
define what you really need. That's very
Mm.
important. I have defined. I always say, sorry, I don't need anything and now because what and now I'm in payback, and this is one of the ways of paying back to the next generation, whatever
Right.
experience I have.
Okay. So what is that one value that you want to leave as a legacy for your family? That one value that you honor.
Few things. Firstly, in this world, first and the foremost thing is that you have to be physically very, very fit, living a very healthy life. This is a base. This is a cardinal. And
Exactly.
for that, self-discipline is the most important thing.
Hmm.
Second thing,
Hmm.
define your needs. Bite what you can chew. Problem is
Nice.
that we want to have everything, and ultimately end up not enjoying. It is something like having a cake and eating it too are two different things.
Hmm.
You
Nice.
you may have a cake, but you may not enjoy eating it. So it is just like a grocery shop that वो आप इकट्ठा कर लिया. You not enjoy it.
Hmm. Hmm.
With this very limited needs, I can say that I enjoyed very fruitful and enjoyed my life.
Mm. What, who is that one person in your life that you feel was always by your side? I just wanted to recognize that person because as you kept telling, it is more important with whom you are with. So, who is that one person whom you always acknowledge in your life?
See, I acknowledge my childhood in my village as a model because the community living makes you, as I use the word, diversity sensitive,
Right.
and you are part of a larger establishment.
Hmm.
From individualism, you should move to collective this thing because in
Hmm.
those things, in that setup, lot of things are automatically achieved. So I
Okay.
consider my childhood, about 10-12 years that I spent in my village, as very foundational. In fact, that is the basis of my personality. And
Hmm.
I carried it throughout my life. I may like to share with you that I born in Haryana, studied in Rajasthan, then married in UP, and I served my entire service career with Kashmiri Muslims
Hmm.
and J&K people of
Hmm.
Rajouri, Poonch, Jammu, Srinagar, Doda, Kishtwar. And you
Hmm.
will be happy to note, even today, there are hundreds of them who are still in touch with me, though I left them 31 years back. So
Right.
that is the love. That is the love that you can, when you live a selfless
Carry
life.
forward. Right.
That is the
Okay.
strength.
Hmm. And what is, what is that one thing that you had experienced in life, in this particular life, and that is your biggest lesson or learning?
See, giving is more important than taking
Mm,
because whatever you give, it comes back to you.
mm,
So
right.
if you can give good message to people, the society around you, I can assure you the same, it will be multiplied and come back in the same coins.
Nice. And keeping this thing, in mind, what you just said. So, what is that one message? I won't say last message because we would love to have you again and receive more information from your story, from your life and experiences. And, as I asked for, legacy and nuggets of wisdom, we'll keep having. What is that one message that you want to give our audience, viewers, and all the leaders in the world, or anyone or everyone? What is that one message that you want to leave for them today?
You see, firstly, you should be able to capability enable yourself.
Hmm.
If you are capable of doing your part of taking on your part of responsibility in this world, that requires your physical fitness, your mental health, and your ability to handle adversity. Because
Hmm.
today's environment is full of adverse situations that you should be able to handle, and that will happen only if you take on the responsibility, identified with it, and do your best and leave the rest to the higher power.
Right.
That's
Right.
that's
And it's a really beautiful message. And, you gave a lots and lots of, food for thought to our audience and to me also, because you gave a very beautiful word, that adversity quotient. And though, sometimes we keep on doing that, but we really don't know what we are doing. But this is very beautiful, the adversity quotient. And I hope our audience had enjoyed this conversation and they have got lots and lots of food for thought and lots of tips and advices from none other than, from Colonel Mehar Dahiya. who is a living experience. I am not getting a right word actually, because it's like, the experiences and the things that you had gone through, the life you had. It's every now, I think, was evolving and growing. Every now was being so much precious, and it would it would take for us to actually have a complete life to learn from every now what you had experienced and understand that. But for now, thank you so much for accepting our request, sparing time to share all those beautiful things with us, with our audience. And we are really, really very, very grateful to you for coming to our show, and hope you will keep inspiring lots many people, and lots many people are going to go beyond their fear, because beyond fear there is only love and light and freedom. So if all those who want to have that freedom, just bring out your voice and just start moving towards freedom. And with this note, we'll take your leave, and we'll come back again on the next episode with some more beautiful guests. And we would love to have Mehar Dahiya once again on our show. Please type in the comments whatever your learnings are, whatever inspired you. And if you have any questions, we would love to answer that. So please drop in the comments, like and subscribe our channel so that you can get notification whenever we are going to come live again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, dear.
Your voice matters. Your story matters. You matter. If you are done hiding, this is your space. Subscribe to our channel, share this episode, and if you are ready to speak, reach out. Because here we don't whisper truth, we embody it, and when truth speaks, fear ends.